Alright, so this is for my Friends and Lovers Unstuttered Kindle collab video. Sorry here. So the first book I'm reading is called BFF, and the picture is just that word and then a chesty man. I'm like, okay. I didn't really read the plots of these books that I'm reading. I just saw that it said Friends to Lovers. And that's the trope that we're doing for this month's collab. So this starts out with a personal's ad, like a dating website profile, written by a Navy SEAL. And this girl is reading it. And she's like, I don't know, is it fake? It seems weird. It's probably just fake picture or whatever. Turns out she's an author writing a military romance, but she doesn't know all the military jargon and stuff, so she's been wanting to meet a Navy SEAL. She lives in Annapolis, Maryland, so she wants to meet a Navy SEAL to ask questions, but everyone she's met either has been making it up or they don't want to answer questions. And then fast forward 2 years, she meets the guy that was in the ad at a coffee shop, showing him a kind of a rejection from a agent saying, I really like this, but you know, it would sell if there's more sex in it, or BDSM or other things like that. So he's like, your story's great the way it is, except because I know, because I've read 6 different versions of it. And then turns out he broke up with his girlfriend. Her boyfriend is unavailable. He's a lawyer, and she just thinks her lawyer boyfriend doesn't get it. And he's like, you should break up with him. And she goes, well, he's taking me out to this fancy place. I never get to dress up. Well, that's all that takes. Why don't we just go to Eagles Point? Isn't that a dressy place? Don't you take a date there? He goes, hell no, because they would get the wrong idea. But I'll take you because you don't look at me like main candy. And so that's the plot. So we'll see how this goes. I mean, obviously they're gonna end up together at the end. I mean, why wouldn't they be? They both had their own point of view chapters, so but we'll be curious to see along the way how it goes. One of the benefits doing these collab videos about reading vlogs is that I can gripe about my characters, and someone will hear me. So they get to the point where he's like, well, if you want to get dressed up, I'll take you to Eagles Point. So they're going, and then he's like, I owe her a celebration, even that her boyfriend won't take her anywhere. And then they walk in, and who's at Eagles Point? The asshole boyfriend with someone else. Of course. I mean, there had been something that would draw them together, and obviously my prediction is that, oh my god, the boyfriend's there, and then the Navy SEAL guy is gonna do something to make that douchebag boyfriend jealous. That's my forecast of what's gonna happen next. Alright, so she just went over to his house to get his opinion on the scene that she made, and he read it, and he's like, well, that's not possible. And she's like, that's totally possible. And he's like, no, because you have him going from this position to another position. And so they reenacted. She's determined to prove him wrong, and she's like got to hold whatever in her back, and somehow her foot is up by his face, and going from one position to another did not work out. She's embarrassed and laughing, she's embarrassed and he's laughing and saying, you should put this on YouTube, it'd be so funny. And then he notices that she's flexible, because they're reenacting all this fully clothed to prove a point that you can't go from one position to another without changing things. So anyways, it's funny. And now we get to yet another scene. She's writing a scene in her book, and then she's like, she's thinking about how her professor told her to write what she knows, but the type of thing she wants to write, she's not experienced. So now she's wondering, I wonder what it feels like to do this. And so then she calls her Navy SEAL friend and is like, hey, come on over. I'm going to make some Parmesan. And so then he gets there and he's starting to have feelings for her, but he doesn't want to tell her. She's sad he's leaving. So I'm just wondering how, since he's going to be sent to a different location anyway. So this is pretty funny, actually. All right, so I finally finished BFF, and there wasn't like a direct breakup like in most stories, but did have a good ending. I gave it a 5 star. It was really good. It didn't go the way I thought, which is always nice. Being a romance author myself, it's nice to know that I can still be surprised. Then I read 2 more titles. I need to pull up my Kindle and remember what those titles were. One was super short, and the other one was a little bit longer. But now I can move them off my Kindle since I read them. And yeah, the 5 star book was good, but it's not one I would reread. Most of the Kindle Stuff Your E-Reader event books, they're books that I probably wouldn't reread. There's some authors reread, but these are not them. So anyways, on to the next clip, which will be talking about the next 2 books I read. One of these days I will get like a tripod or whatever. But so the next book that I read for this Friends Lovers Kindle e-reader and stuff event, one of these, I got the word right. It was Falling for His Best Friend, Sweet Friends Lovers Romance. It is book 1 of 4 in the Halcyon Falls series by Faye Morgan. It's published in 2020, so who knows when I got it. But it features, it was a weird setup. So it features Harmony and then her best friend, okay? And at first, I didn't even think they were friends at all. This was a weird setup. So first, it's all featuring her, and she's leaving work. No one's gonna notice her. She's gonna go meet up with her friend to go get married at the courthouse. Okay, and turns out she wanted to have a baby, and she wanted to have a baby with him, but she wanted to be a single mom. And he's like, "No, I can't let you be a single mom." So he says it instead. But out loud, he's like, "Hey, I really need to get married for my job. There's stuff going on at work, and so I have to get married." She doesn't question it. So they get married, and then they have a baby. Okay. And she's like, let's pretend. You can't be calling me your wife. You can't call me yours. And he's like, I gotta make it look real. And so then they get married. She gets pregnant. And she's so focused on having a healthy pregnancy. She's reading all these pregnancy books and all that. And this one book said that sex during the first trimester can be harmful. And then she goes on firmly believing that, even though he showed her lots of other things that said the other way, that it was fine. And so finally, I don't know how many months pregnant she was, but she's at least a couple months pregnant. So they have sex, and then that night she ends up having bad pains, and she ends up losing the baby, and she's super distraught, and they just kind of like drift apart, and they move out of each other's house, I guess. And then they like see each other again, and it's been several months since it happened. And then like they decide they're gonna sit there on the bench, and she goes, "Are you sad?" And he goes, "Yes," or something like that. And they sit there in silence, and then that's the end of the chapter. There's only like 4 chapters or something in this book. It's really silly. And there's an epilogue where she's giving birth. So obviously made up. So it's really, really short book. I don't know if it was like a sneak peek or a teaser or whatever, but it was not. I mean, it's gotten 3.7 stars out of 5. I gave it a 3 just because I need more of the story, I guess. So that was book number 2 that I read for the Friends and Lovers and Stuff Your E-Reader collab that I'm doing. And then the other one, the other one was called 17 Wishes. It was really cute. It was a really cute story. And let me tell you what it's about. I'm bringing up about the book details on my reader because I suck at talking about plots of books, okay? So this is book description. If knowing the truth could leave you more broken than believing the lies, would you still want to know it? We've been friends our entire lives, Lily and me, but I've not always been truthful. So it's Lily and this guy. I forget his name. That's probably important. But so they grew up next to each other. They're only a few months apart. And he says that when he tells her that sometimes he gets lightheaded and stuff like that, and he can't do strenuous activity, but they do yoga together, hang out together, they go swimming together, and they're only like a few months apart in age. And then he gives her a jar with 17 wishes, and he's like, but you only can have the wishes when I let you have them. So he like doles them out to her, and then they end up having sex, even though Mom had Dad tell him, remember, you can have sex because this is going to be too strenuous for you, and it can make you have a heart attack and die. But she's just really anxious. The mom's really anxious. Mom is being super protective. Turns out the mom, when she was pregnant with him, well, she didn't know she was pregnant with him. She was on birth control pills and taking bipolar medication, and she found out she was pregnant after a couple of months. But bipolar medication does cause birth defects. One of the birth defects in the story that it caused was his heart problem, that he had to have a heart transplant. And the doctor basically said, you don't get one by the time you're 18, then you're on borrowed time after that. And so the mom yells at her and stuff, but then they end up getting a phone call that he has a heart transplant to do. So she's at the hospital with his parents, and the mom kind of forgives her, and then fast forward to, it's been a year since his heart transplant, and now he is like going to propose to her, and then has the last wish in the jar. It's a really cute story. I think it's pretty well written, and what I appreciate that even though they are like 17 and then they're 18 and they're having sex, that stuff isn't described. Like the feelings of like, oh, I have to make sure my heart slows down, and like the feeling of, and describing how like appendages are being affected when they're around each other, that sort of thing. But like, it's not super detailed, so I appreciate that, especially since it's a young adult novel. That one was only 138 pages, and that was by Erica Alexander, and it was called 17 Wishes. Okay, I think that's it. I have the 3 books that I have read for the collab. Today is tomorrow's July 8th. So if I do read any more Friends and Lovers in this on my Kindle, then I will do that. But I'm pretty sure I won't. So hopefully I remember to put a closing to this. When I went to my Kindle, there was only like 8 books total that were Friends and Lovers. So apparently that's not my jam. So hopefully the next topic is more interesting for me. As in, like, a more variety to choose from. More variety of books to choose from on my reader. Okay, peace out.